Happy New Year. We're going to wait for a few minutes. Desi should be joining soon. You can see I've not taken down my Christmas decorations yet. We normally wait until the end of January. Most times we do the end of January, but definitely after Epiphany, which was recently this week. So last week, the 6th. Anyway, yeah, I'm really well. I am actually finishing editing to send my book to an editor, and it's due Friday. So I've been really, really busy. Been really, really, really busy. But we'll see how that works. I know, I'm really excited. I'm really excited. And then hopefully after that can get edited after I get it back, and then have beta readers, and then can release it. My goal is summertime. I'm really excited. So before we start, because we're waiting for Desi to join, but before we start talking about this book, I can actually move that up just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Reading it again, it is so, like, it's completely different. It's just changed from the original that I wrote. So no, this is my young adult fantasy story with the mermaids and the different realms. So the fairy tales, my goal is by September to get that one done, because that one's an easier edit, I think. If not, then the end of the year. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me text her to see if she is ready. It's very exciting. It is very exciting. So, but it's also been really busy too. And at the same time, my husband broke his collarbone at the end of November. So it's been fun times here. Okay, she says oh, there she is. Okay, so she will be here. Yeah, so the end, Thanksgiving time, and then after that was it's been really interesting. No Christmas lights outside this year, so that's been a little bit of a difficult time. It says it's now joined. Let me try. Okay, Desi, I tried to invite again. I'm curious if it's I'm curious if it's because it's been almost a month since I've done a live. Maybe it doesn't like me doing that. So Eden, that's my fault. Um, I started the live and then I had to shut it down because I forgot the picture and then I started it again. So it could be my fault. Um, okay, let's try again. Okay, she's here. Okay, so invite sent again, Desi. Yay! That one worked. Perfect. Okay. So I saw a comment. So while Desi, sorry, I got the invites and it said I accepted, and then it said like you need to allow camera to be private, and then allow the camera, and then nothing popped up. So I shut it down, and then that seems to be working. Sorry, my bad. Before we introduce ourselves again for the new year, I saw a comment and from Will. Sign language is just like any other language. It takes time to learn. It takes time and effort to figure out how the language works. So is sign language hard to learn? It depends on how much you want to try. Yes, it's a language, so it can be hard to learn, but it's really rewarding to have. Like, I've loved learning sign and using sign since I started. So I 100% recommend that you do learn, but the same as any other language, it is hard to learn. A comment. You're commenting about learning ASL. I'm curious what the question was. How did it start? Will said, I have a question. Is it hard to learn sign language? And how do you learn sign language? Oh, I forgot to answer that part. So there's a lot of different ways. You can go to your local deaf blind institute, and normally they will have classes, or your local community and the college may have classes. Online has a lot, like Ohio, the state, university, Oklahoma. So yeah, you're right. It's Oklahoma. No, you're right. They have free online ASL classes you can learn from. If you go to our website, it's DEAFinitely readers.com. So definitely readers.com. We have a list of resources that you can use, and it shares how you can learn sign language there. So Eden, I'm doing great. We are all better. So we got hit with the flu. I don't really know what kind it was. It was some kind of stomach bug. It hit us. The kids got it, and then first my oldest got it, and then I got it. So both of us had it the worst. And then the other two, the youngest, they were pretty much immediately fine. But us, it was awful. But we're fine now. Thank you for asking. Yeah, we're much better. Okay, to officially start the new year, Welcome. We're happy 2026. So this is the Definitely Readers Book Club live discussion on our books. And so I'm KT James. My sign name is this. I'm hard of hearing. I have hearing aids, and I am using PSC more than ASL because I'm simcomming, which is signing and speaking simultaneously. I will also be voice interpreting for Desi. Yes, thank you. So my name is Desi. This is my sign name. I am deaf, and I'll be voice off typically. So we co-host together, and we set up this in 2024, April. So it's been almost 2 years, which is wow. And so altogether in 2025, we've pretty much read a good amount of books. I think this club is really growing since we started, and I am really looking forward to 2026. So, yes, the challenge. Do you want to sign it and I'll just voice because it's easier if I'm not simcomming? Do you want to tell about the challenge and I'll voice? Okay. I'll try. If I miss something, some information, you can just interrupt. Okay, so we have, so recently in December, we posted a little bit earlier, just getting ready to read, a reading challenge for 2026. So what is that? So there's individual boxes for each month with a theme that they'll have. So you can do it yourself. You can follow us however you want to do it and checkbox it all off. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. If you do everything, all the challenges, and then the bonuses, so there's going to be 3 winners. Yep, 3 winners. And I can explain that part, sure. So I have it's a bookish shop called Signs and Stories. So the 3 winners will get merch from there. I will let you pick what you want, like a shirt or cross stitch. I have a lot of stickers, I have a lot of different things. So anyway, but the point is, bookmarks, yes. So the point is, if you do the challenge, you get 1 entry for the 12 months. And then if you do the bonus, you can get up to 3 more names in the thing. So you can get 4 drawings. So this challenge is not meant to be hard. It just wants to broaden your reading of deaf culture. Now, for us as the club, we will be following it. So if you read with us, you will automatically get the names for the drawing, right? Because you're following us. So we will also be using the challenge as an example for the choices for this year to make it a little bit easier to know what to look forward to on reading. But we have this month was ASL on the page. So that means this is why, it's just showing sign on the pages as you read. That's a lot of books. A lot of books can also kind of fit different things. But this is why this book is really not a main character. Yeah, next to Ken. It's not a main character who's deaf. CODA, yes. And there is a side character who is deaf. Yes. But that's why it was one of the choices this month. And if you're not aware, definitely readers, the book club is called Next of Kin. The book club reads books that are focused on deaf, hard of hearing characters, or like ASL, like representation in books, and then or written by deaf and hard of hearing authors. So that's part of our goal for this book club. We specifically focus on deaf culture. Yes, perfect. SimComm. Yeah, good job. Okay. So I'm really excited about the challenge. It seems really fun way. And if you feel very overwhelmed and you can't do it all, that's completely fine. There's not a pressure to do it. No. And we will be doing check-ins to see like if you're enjoying it, if you find it easy. One of the like bonuses was to watch like a documentary, like because Desi found, I think it was Marley Matins, right? You watched hers, Not Alone Anymore, and it really touched her heart. And so she was like, maybe we add that. Another one is just learning 10 signs, like, hello, how are you? That's 3 signs right there. Like, so we didn't want to make it hard, but we wanted to spread awareness for deaf culture. Yay! I love that. Hope. MM. So Eden said, what Niall's book count as ASL gloss? Yeah, yeah. So I have not watched the documentary yet. I keep meaning to. Um, so okay. So thank you. So typically we just do MM because it's just habit, but thank you for reminding us. Okay, do we want to start? Do we have any questions about the challenge or anything right now? Oh, before I forget, with the challenge, our goal was to pick a person, like to pick the winners by December. So we'll see how we'll try. Yes, yes. Typically, we have a tough time for November and December. So there's the holidays, so there's not a lot out there. I did read one. It was a short story. It was 8 chapters. Um, it was a good idea, but I liked it, but I didn't really connect to it. It was really short, so I don't really recommend that one. Maybe self-read. Yeah. Okay. So this book. So I will be honest, I've already read it. I read it last year sometime. So I was doing, yeah, in the fall. So I was doing a reread of it. And but so I honestly forgot to comment. I have all my notes, but I didn't add them to Discord. But I was reading through, and there was a few comments that I was like, "Oh, I didn't think about that. Like, that's true." So I'm really interested to discuss them tonight. Okay, so I did have a lot of notes, but I didn't get to read other people's comments yet. I did see some, not all. But I did notice that there was a lot of comments, and a lot of y'all have read ahead. Um, yes. So, Eden, Desi, I think said the same thing. Like, it's like immediately it started you reading. So now it's not until really, hang on, there's a cord. I would say it's not until what, chapter 6 before you see her signing or meeting the deaf character. So the beginning is most of the book, I would say, is more hearing focused. Um, this is the book up here, next to Ken. So the story is about two siblings who are trying to not adopt, but foster their younger siblings. So there's a program called Team Up. Awful name. I was laughing about that part, like the name of it. But basically, it's where you would join together with another family or sibling and kind of share the responsibilities so that they can basically pass inspection for social service, for social services, for the social worker. So they come into the house. If you want your sister, you have to do all of this, and because you're broke, you don't have like cash value, yeah. And I was like, I have a stranger live with me. Oh, great, okay. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. Yes, so as soon as it starts, it did pull you in immediately. So I did like that. And so her story was really heart touching. Like, oh, I'm happy. No. It started with the comment what she experienced growing up, what she's going through, her bio mom, and just left her. And so it was really heavy, but it was a good start to get you involved. And so what happens is Chloe, we're gonna use Chloe. Um, she gets a call that says, "Hey, your bio mom wants to see you." Where is she? She's at the hospital. She just had a baby. What? and, and understand, Chloe's 24. And her mom did not know she was pregnant. So she had fetal alcohol syndrome, which means the baby's sick, like not her, sick. And she has heart problems because she was early. Is that comment? I just want to be Chloe's best friend. Yeah. Yeah. She has a sunshine personality. So she was like, oh, well, I feel like she doesn't know how to feel about her sister, about her bio mom asking for her to come and saying, you take care of her. You're more responsible. I had to be. Like, I didn't have a choice to be a kid. Like, you left me. alone, like, because you were an alcoholic. Like, um, so it's very, very emotional. It's very emotional. So she called, she got the call, she's in a store, she gets the call, and then is news that was emotional, and she's just sitting there going, and she's in the bathroom, and then she automatically it said, I don't want her to be alone. I will take care. I'll take the responsibility. I will go and text me where, I will go there and everything. And she's like, I have a sibling. I don't want them to experience what I did. And so the chapters feel short because I don't feel like they like drag on, which is good. So I didn't realize I was reading through chapter 11 and I was like, "Oh, I'm done." Okay. But the next chapter is talking about like Odette. I did not like her. Excuse me, you're mama. Can I say mama? No. Boundaries. Um, and then she goes, she's had a tough time. I wanted to say, excuse me? I've had a tough time. You're telling me I can't tell her the truth that she's an awful mom? No. Like, that's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I felt like Odette didn't care about the baby. It felt like she goes, I'm not here, as the social worker design. I'm not here as that. I'm here as a friend to your mom. I think that, uh-huh. Yeah, that's a step over her boundaries, over her career. I'm here for your mom. I did all of this. I tried, and she just kept disappearing for 2 years, and now she's back. And then she goes, you need to just put it aside and try to be here for her. No. And she was Chloe's like social worker. So I 100% did not agree with her. And I struggled with reading that part. Oh, she seemed nice and then offered to help and then being like with her. And then I read it a little bit more and I was just like, I don't really agree with this. That kind of personality is typically you have to watch out for because you can't play both sides. So Rachel, the first person who called Chloe, she's Willow's, the baby's social worker. Odette, in the past, was Chloe's social worker. Oh, the baby too. Which I I mean, babies are cute. But I read that again and I want to say the first time that I read it, I didn't pay attention, like because I was just reading it because I was like, oh, it has a deaf character, cool. Like, let me read it. And then and I liked it, but I didn't read it like deep. Like I wasn't taking notes down about the book. Um, but anyways, um, so I did not like her, and I didn't like her. Um, but that was and I. I was looking at my notes. Okay. So I so I am curious how everyone felt about Chloe's adoptive parents, because the more that I read it, the more that I was just like, because the first thing that was said is like she has anxiety, right? Chloe has anxiety. Like she was talking about it, and they said nerves. Oh, it's just nerves. No, social anxiety is a debilitating thing. Spoilers, so I'm not going to say it. I feel like because Chloe had to take care of her mom, like, and then she kept going back and forth with her mom, and then she got adopted, but it felt like she had to fit for them to get adopted. So, do they know her actual personality, like who she really is? And there was a comment that um, that Warren makes. I don't think it's past chapter 11. No, okay. It's in the section. Okay, so he says, "Why? Um, you're spoiled. You have everything. You have a family who adopted you. You have all of this." And she was just like, okay." But it was right after that he says, "When did you, or why do you feel like you have to make yourself like less?" That's not exactly what he said, but it's similar. But before we get to that part about Warren, we're gonna back up. Have a question about her adoptive parents. So first, my first thought is they're shitty. So why are they not involved and going to her schools, focused on that, not letting her have social life or freedom, independence? And some parents do that. But then she moved off to college, and she not keeps in touch with their daughter. It's like not friends, but a person you know. Yeah. Sorry, 1 minute. So it's just weird that the adopted parents didn't are not involved in her life. And her dad is deaf. Yeah. There's more explanation later. Yes, there will be more explanation later. Um, do Are they still shitty? Yeah, but you find out more later, and that's all I'll say right now. Um, but I know that there was a comment, like it's the only time that they think of her. Yeah, so they called her when they're traveling because they found a drink called the Chloe, but that's it. And it's just so the whole story is about two siblings who are trying to take care of siblings, or they're not siblings, two people who are trying to take care of their siblings. And they both come from shitty home lives, really. And they're trying to improve their siblings' home lives. So that explains a lot about her personality. She's trying to be positive and think positive. And also dismissive. She dismisses, like, if something negative happens, she just like takes to praise the Lord. And like Warren said, that comment, why do you always make yourself feel small? And he's very observant. And she's not used to that. And she's like, yeah, she makes a comment that says, like, she's not used to being seen, and observed. And anyways, chapter 3, I think she meets with Rachel, finds out, is that chapter 4? The chapters are short, so what happens in them is like blurring for me. No, not yet, Eden. No. I'm talking about chapters, I think it's chapter 4, is she meets Willow's social worker in the office. But before that, her bio mom, didn't name the baby. And Odette tells her she wants you to name her. And my first thought is, so she feels a connection, so she has the responsibility to take care of her if she names the baby? Is that why? Like, so my thought was their bio mom, Connie, doesn't care, doesn't want the responsibility. She doesn't want to name or anything. She's just, you pick, you do this. Oh, and like the first thing she said was like, if I had known I was pregnant, I wouldn't be. I went, okay. And then when she went in the hospital room, after Odette says, just be careful, be there for us, be supportive, and she goes in, and then Odette was nice, hello, and then Connie became rude. Yeah, some comments and anger. So Odette was just like, or Chloe was just like, yep, that's my mom's personality. Yeah, Eden, yes, the child, like the baby will be taken care of, and that's good enough for me. Peace out. Yeah, that's true. So like if Connie had named the baby, it would be harder for her to leave. Well, okay, so I have 2 adopted nephews. And the bio mom actually gave them names. She had other kids that she didn't have, and she did not name those kids. But no, my sister, when they were adopted, they legally changed one of the names because one of the names was really hard to say and it would be hard to get a job later in life. Didn't want that. The other they kept because it could be used. They also did keep the last name, their original last name, as a middle name, so they would have a connection later. But the point is, their bio mom didn't care. Just because she named them doesn't mean she wanted them. Like, she has none of her kids. So I can see how naming would make a connection, yes. But at the same time, it won't keep them. I think Connie, she's not in the right mind there. Anyways, she was drunk and pregnant, and she's an alcoholic, and now she has a preemie, and she doesn't want that responsibility. So, Chloe names the baby Willow, and it's a cute name. She meets a nurse, Calvin. I like him. Um, and at the same time, you really find out that Willow will be there in the NICU for 12 weeks, 3 months, almost 3 months, um, because she's early. She has like breathing problems, heart problems, and honestly, in my mind, all I'm thinking about is Chloe probably doesn't have insurance. How is she paying? Who is paying for the NICU? Will the state, since she's doing the fostering, because her mom is not going to pay. I think so. So like my mind is going, who's paying? How is she going to pay for that? I think that because like you did, because one of your babies was in the NICU. Yeah. So that's normal to think about that paying. Yeah. Oh, Kath. So, I think the state will pay. So, Catherine commented, she says she would ask her social worker friends tomorrow at work. That would be great. I was curious because, like, that was my first thought. I was like, 3 months. So, my niece was in the NICU for 3 months. And it's expensive. And I'm sitting here thinking, how, because she's like, she was like talking to herself about like how uh much like debt she has, like she has her college, she has like all of these like bills to pay, and she was talking about like doctor's visits for for Willow's heart, and like I'm going, how is she just gonna add up the hospital bill? Anyway, um, but Calvin is a nurse, and she is a fighter. He said that she's a fighter, she's tough. And that comment, I like his support and his encouragement for to make sure that he is there to go through it. And the comment that I think that like it pops up in Chloe's mind is her mom's like phrase. What is it? Strong brows, strong nose, strong body, strong mind. And I liked that like phrase because it's not, you're beautiful. It's not that kind of reminder of like who you are. It's more about, yeah, generation in health. Yeah. So I liked having that. Yeah. Catherine, that's amazing. I love that you have connections to ask questions. Um, yeah, it's expensive. My sister actually works as a NICU nurse, and she has two jobs. And I know that she took two jobs to help pay, and she works there. Yeah. Oh, that was 11 years ago. Hmm. Yeah. Um, Not only that, but also, yeah, labor and delivery. Should she have to pay for her birth? She should not, no, because she's not who gave birth. It's not like she's a, wow, I can't spell. Surrogate. She's not that. Like she's, yeah, like she's surrendering her baby. So, anyways, so we meet, and I did like that moment in the hospital when the alarm starts going off. And then you have all of the nurses coming into the room and they like usher out Chloe. And that's really true for what happens because you never know what will happen. Like, like in the room, you don't want the parents there as they're like making sure that the baby stays alive. So I liked that that part was added in, so you can see like how much the baby is already struggling, and that Chloe just wants her to have a good life. And then right after that, we meet Rachel. She tells her, like, you have all of this, but no money. So it's not enough. It's not good enough. And that's how she feels. That's how she feels. Like, I'm not good enough. Like, and she was worried before she said yes, because she knew that she's 24. She knew she did not have money. She didn't have a partner, like that kind of stuff. And she knew that because she grew up like in the foster system. So she knew she would need that. And then you see she's like, oh, ew, that paper is ugly. Why? Team up. Yeah. See the comment? Social worker who wants to be a matchmaker. So speaking of that, um, she's ready to explain. You have, two siblings. They have a sibling too. He has a job, great. He will help with the money. They're looking for a place to stay. You have that. And so we're gonna like switch. Make it equal. And okay, fine. Want to make sure. Wait, there was a comment. There was a comment. So I think it was Catherine. I think you said this. Made a comment about where are we gonna meet at? I don't want a man to stay with me. Where are we gonna meet? And then she finds out that the brother is deaf and she like immediately accepts, okay, he can have my address. um and I know that like the next comment or the next chapter made sense because you find out that her dad is deaf. But I just thought it was funny, yeah. She was really quiet. She didn't say anything. And she didn't say that she knew sign. And then, oh, you're deaf? Sure. Come on. I am curious because I would assume that Rachel would have access to her, like her file. So probably would she know that her dad was deaf and that's why it would maybe work out? Might be. Catherine. Yeah, it's funny. So we get to the meeting, Warren, W. He is not a good start. So, okay, I can see how when you have a first like a meeting, right? And the person is happy with colorful clothes and like it seems this is gonna make me sound like a snob, but like perky, like uh, and like I'm not like that. And I can see how they would get on like have a bad like impression. It's very common, like, oh, you're way too much. Oh, Elise Myers here on TikTok. I follow. She says, you know, if I'm too much, go find less. Like, go away. And so, like, that was my first, you know. But at the same time, like, I can see how if you're already struggling, if you've already been told you're not enough for your brother, you have to do all of this. Like, you know, he needs a comment. Like, yeah, like, sorry, but just a quick thought. And I just thought, and they haven't seen pictures of each other yet. And so they probably didn't even think it was her, right? And he's just like, oh, he's a weird girl, whatever, fine, fine. And just walks away. And it's funny that he called that number. Or, yeah, well, it was, yeah. So her doorbell calls her phone. And so he's pushing, and she's like, hi, Warren, move your car. I'm going to go move my car. Yeah, go do that. Yes, the amount of stress that they're both dealing with, and Warren deals with it by being a dick, by being an asshole. And she deals with it by being, you know, like very, don't give an F. I'm here, but yeah. I do like if it was his day off, why did they schedule it so early in the morning to meet? But honestly, it was 10:30. So it really wasn't that early. But I have to remember he's 23 because it said he's a year younger. So 23. I'm like, you know, I'm almost 38. Wait, 38. Are we 38? I don't know how old. So like reading this, I'm not reading this as like a 24-year-old who sleeps until noon, right? Okay, I'll be honest, I could sleep till noon. Yes, yes, yeah. But the personalities does like, well, It's my off day. Sorry, I'm late. And that already, first with the car, was not a great impression. And then that, oh, oops, you're Chloe, strike two. And then it's my off day. I forgot. I'm like, she's already making check marks in her book. Like, I'm not responsible. You're not responsible. How can I deal with you? Yeah. At that point, she's just already frustrated. And I would say, mm, it's like the cavalier, like attitude, like whatever, I don't care. Like that kind of attitude. I don't agree with her, like keeping tallies, right? Like, wrong, wrong. Like, I don't agree, but at the same time, don't like don't just say, oh, don't just dismiss, oh, well, I'm late because it's my off day. Just say, sorry, like, I overslept. That's all he had to say. And just like, not, I don't know. He did not make a good impression. Oh, Catherine said, so when she read it, she felt like he was teaching her to calm down. Maybe. Yeah. Right now, I feel like they're butting heads a little bit because they both have strong personalities. Yeah. And hers is very positive, and his is very negative and grumpy. And it kind of feeds off of each other. And then plus, they're very protective of their. He's very protective of their of his brother. He does not want her to help nothing. Oh, and that was funny because she had like rules that she wanted to like say, let's set up boundaries and rules. And he's just like, I don't want help. I want to live here so we can both check off this on the list, but that's it. Like, no help. She goes, okay, not very team up. Oh, yeah, so they could balance each other. That's true. Um, I was very confused with the keys because she was nervous. But why does she have four keys? Like, I would assume a key to each like bedroom, but if all four keys, because she had roommates before, it should have worked on the door because her roommates use those keys, right? So that was a confusing part to me. For us. Yeah. Well, she's a single girl who lives alone, maybe in the city, maybe, or storage. I don't know. Um, I was laughing though when he signed, and like, he was not expecting her to respond. Yeah. I feel like that's a deaf thing to do is when you're being like annoyed with a person and you want to like leave a conversation to decide and see if they respond or not. Yeah. Well, did Rachel Rachel know she signs because she didn't say that. If it's in her papers, fine, but maybe it didn't say that. So maybe she didn't know. But I liked that she signed and kind of shocked Warren. And he, that was really funny. So she gets to meet Luke. Oh, um, okay, go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say it's after this part. Sorry. Okay, so she gets to meet Luke, who's the deaf brother, and he's 15. So let's back up. So before, when she finds out that he'll have a brother, she thought maybe 15, not good, not a really good match because she has a baby, and then 15, the age and immaturity. But oh, she meets him and she chats. Do we want to talk about Warren's friend first, that part? Or nah, Bryce. Yeah, he has an asshole kind of name. For a guy, yes. What do you think about it for a girl? It's my niece's name. Yeah, it's a jerk name. But the actress Bryce Howard, I like her name. She's an actress for New Moon, so I like. But I don't really see you don't really see it often for a woman name, mostly for men. Yeah. So, anyways, he was awful, and there was it was very I don't know the English word, but like oh, I don't know the English word for that. But he was like, what is that guys do? It's like where they're. I know what you're saying, but I can't think of the word judging. Not really judging. It's not judging, but it's just like okay, okay, you'll do. Yeah, he's looking at her boobs. Perving, perving, perving. Yeah, he's like it's kind of the person that you don't want to hang out with. Checking her out. Oh, that's a good word, Eden. Uh, Eden said salacious. Salacious. It's just an older word. Yeah, that. Frat guy. Yeah, frat, frat guy. And she's like, excuse me, my eyes? Yeah, it was funny. But I think Catherine, you had a comment that said Warren's reaction to how what happens when she gets like hit with the door and her nose is bleeding. He sounds very concerned for a man who said, I don't want help. Like, keep to yourself. I'll keep, like, we're separate. We're not, like, helping each other. He's very concerned about her nose, making sure she's okay. I thought that was sweet. He's really grumpy, but he's not that bad. Well, hopefully we'll see more of that. That. But yeah, he said, I know what it's like to have that experience, many fights. So let me just see it. And I was like, okay. He's very hot and cold. Like, yes, so he's concerned and worried, and then he's rude and telling her to leave. Yeah. The grumpy is a shield. Could see that. So anyways, and then we meet Luke, and she realizes he's very sweet. He's funny. He's chatting with her. He's not like his brother who is grumpy. He's very like open and chatting and seems not happy, but happy to be back with his brother. I wanted to make a comment because it talks about sign names, but it never says what their sign names are. I was a little disappointed. So, okay, two things in this chapter, really. The sign names, you don't know. And then signing is shown differently. Now, Hope had a comment. She said, how is it shown in the book? Because the audiobook, you have no idea if they're signing or not. So this is the first time that I remember seeing a different font for signing. True. I kind of like it. We're used to italics, yeah, but this is a little bit different, and it's not bad. I like it. What do you think? What do you guys think? So, um, it took some getting used to. Like, it took a little bit of time. I I almost wanted like bolder, maybe, or it it works because it is different. I like that you can see the thoughts that are italics, and then the signing is a different font. Because, sometimes it's really hard when you're showing like the inner thoughts, and most books have it italicized. It's hard to know when signing is happening with that. Like you have the quotes, yes. Um, it doesn't look like text messages, so I do like that. Yeah, so it is different. It is different than what we normally read. Um, so it would go on the list of what we would like, and like the it was interesting. I know that they talked about sometimes they said simcomming. They never used that word simcomming. They said signing and speaking. So I don't know if they're not aware of that term. At the beginning of the book, there was an author's note, and it talks about adoption. It talks about a little bit about ASL, but it's very short. It's one paragraph, and that's it. And it just says that Luke uses, American Sign Language, and that's going to be in the book. And then thank you for the deaf sensitivity readers, but it doesn't really go into depth about like how it's used, that she's showing the English like sentences, not ASL sentences. Like it doesn't like go into detail about ASL. It just almost assumes that you understand that she's going to show the English sentence. Does that make sense? Um, so I don't know if maybe because there's a hearing author may not know that word simcom. Um, I personally would want to show a difference from when they're signing and when they're simcomming. So with that, you said, Eden, someone said the audiobook you couldn't tell the difference. Mm-mm. No, because it's reading like straight through. So when like this, page 62, it says like he moves to tap Luke on the shoulder. Let's be clear, or let's clear the hallway. Let Willow see the rest of the apartment. But they don't say signing. You just know it's signing because he's talking to Luke. My eyes are hurting. So, Catherine. So, simcom, yeah, that's a deaf term. It means simultaneous communication. So the same time commuting. So it's this shortened word. It actually can be used in a document, like typing it out. So it is a word. And then at the same time, you don't always have to say signing and speaking when you're writing it in the story. Um, yes, so it has, ASL on the page, but it's not ASL grammar. Which maybe, I don't know, Niall DeMarco, really, that's the only book that I've read that has like really specific ASL grammar. Most of the books that we read have had translated ASL. And that's because it's easier to read. It's really hard to read gloss. For me, it's not hard, but for maybe for hearing people, yes. So if you don't know what gloss is like, so English, I am going to the store and buying blah, 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 blah. So ASL gloss, me go store buy blah, blah, blah. So it's now, they are complicated gloss too. Yeah. That one is for for lexicalized signs, like moving it around. So it can be very complicated. That's what I'm talking about, hard to read. Like, but basic, it's not bad to read. But complicated ones, yes. So it's it looks like math. Not really math, but like, whoa, trying to read it. So I will say most people, yeah, easy gloss is easy to read. Most authors, when they're doing sign in a story, they will use the English sentence, not full ASL. Because, me go store for hearing for hearing readers, it disrupts the reading because you're like, now If you're signing it, it's not, but reading it can. So most authors will add like a note at the beginning that says, I'm not using ASL grammar. That point. Like I'm using the translated ASL to English for reading kind of things. Eden, I'm the same way. Like simple gloss I can do, but the complicated, I'm almost always wrong. um, so she meets Luke, and they everything seems to be going well. They're chatting, but Warren is very protective of him. He doesn't want help. He doesn't want her to help Luke at all. She offered to go buy the groceries. She offered to do this, to cook, and he's like, no, we're good. And she said, like, and it was like, respect, Chloe's space. Like, no, you can't go see her room. Like, okay. I think it was the loft idea that was the cool part, not her room, but yeah. After that, I think Willow comes home. Um, Warren meets Calvin. So actually, she goes to the hospital, she gets the baby, and Calvin is there, and she's like, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm off my day, but I wanted to be here. Make sure she goes home. Oh, it's a little bit weird. A little bit weird. Nurses do that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They do, but it's still weird because is it because he liked Willow or because Chloe is a young, hot girl, single girl? I don't know. I was reading the comments. She accepted his phone number, thought it was for Willow to check in with Willow. And then she goes, oh, it was for me. That was funny. And then he offered to drive her home, and she said, "Fine, sure." Now, I can understand why she would accept that because she's already thinking about expenses and like, yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. They arrive back and they're chatting, and then she opens the door and she sees Warren, and he's just like, who's that? Mm-hmm. Calvin from the hospital. He's the nurse. Oh, cool. Okay. Why do you care? And then oh, you look nice. One night she left, and she had gone out, and he goes, like, what do you like? Did you go to a party? And she goes, why is he interested in what she's doing? You're home early. And he's asking all these questions, and he's grumpy asking these questions. So it's clear he likes her. Um, yeah, it was awkward. And then it's even more awkward after that because she's like, doesn't know how to say bye. And so she gives Calvin a hug, and it's just like, she know it. He tried to do a side hug, but she did like a full hug and starts laughing. She's just awkward. So it's like that awkward, like, doesn't really know how to be friends or like meet new people. She's always just nervous about people. It's that kind of personality. There's a lot of like laughing parts. That's just like, that's funny. So after Calvin left, let me take that. Oh, so Luke got to have the baby, like, or hold, like, hold the baby. Yes. And it was weird to me that Warren is just like, no, okay. So I think no, I think my thought process is that Warren is so protective of Luke and he does not want to help. And so when Luke asked if he can, Chloe's thinking that Luke is now helping her, and Warren doesn't want to be involved like that. He wants to keep them separate. And so she wants to make sure Warren is okay that Luke is helping her. But when she didn't sleep for 2, 3 days, okay, you're feeding the bottle on the couch to the couch pillow. She's like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. And in 4 hours, go shower, we will watch the baby. So, well, yes. So it's clear that things are changing. Oh, maybe. Um, so that was the first time that they met, right? And then like when Willow came home. So I think after, a week of like no sleep and seeing how she's doing alone, Warren is a little bit softer. Okay, we can, you know, intermingle a little bit more. I can hold her, you can go shower. So he's not as grumpy about keeping them apart. Maybe, maybe. But that is chapter 11 is when he takes care of Willow so she can shower. She decides, okay, it's that new mom. Okay, we're gonna leave the house today. I can do it. Yeah, like with the stroller. But before that, it's the no sleep, it's the no like time to yourself, the not showering, it's feeding the baby, but not because you are exhausted. So you can really feel for her. Um, and you have to remember and think she's not the mom. Like she's the sister and she's just trying and like she was thinking about like what all she might be giving up because of what happens. But she gets to go out of the house. Um, she goes to the store. She talks to Calvin and sets up a date. And that's the end of chapter 11. Um, but I did like that Luke said, you can have all the food that says, L. It's okay that you had a bar. He was really sweet. So, Eden, I would assume that Warren has like headphones or something because he works at a mechanic shop. So it's loud there. So maybe he has headphones so he can't hear. But yeah, he's just been ignoring. I'm surprised he didn't complain. I'm glad I read to chapter 13. Okay, so she almost spoiled. So I'm glad you said to stop there because a lot happened, and so I got to hold it. So thank you for saying that. Um, so I, so yeah, after chapter 11, she goes out, and I'm wondering how she got that quick of burst of energy back after that shower. She was really great shower, and I guess well, well, you remember that first shower after being just exhausted, and you feel like, oh, now I feel better. I can do, yeah, a new person. Um, so Hope said, I'm surprised that Warren didn't complain about it. Now, if you remember, he did not realize that Willow was a baby until he met Chloe, and he's like, I have to do it, so fine, whatever. I think as Eden said, she wants to know how long before she switches rooms with Warren or Luke because of the stairs, like with the baby. Maybe. Ooh, Hope. I don't remember. Maybe he has some hearing loss too. And that's the reason why. I mean, Luke seemed he was deaf, and so he can't hear the baby crying. But maybe Warren has learned how to ignore. We have no idea. And that doesn't really talk about it, if I remember. Yeah. Good night, Catherine. But it's been really interesting. It's a good read. It's a good read. Um, there was one quote. I gotta find it. Hello. Is it okay if I share some quotes that I like? I have a few. I have a few. So Chloe says, I have a sibling. I have given anything for a sibling growing up. Someone familiar and know someone to love and be loved by. Unconditionally. Yeah. That's a sad one. I'm trying to find the other one. I totally forgot. Like you said, one of the funny parts of the story, for example, when she and Warren were sitting down and she said, he said, I don't want help. I don't want any of this. And she said, okay, get off my couch. Yeah. Or I don't want friends. Yeah, I don't want friends. So the other quote I thought was interesting. She said, male friendships are strange. Though I'm no expert on friendships of any kind. And then I felt like, oh, because she doesn't really have a lot of friends growing up. And the friends that she had, she kind of kept she lost contact with, but she kept to herself. Like she didn't tell secrets, like she didn't really share about her life. I think she didn't want to be judged. And I will tell the truth this time. Yeah. The quote that I really liked, I don't remember. I wrote a lot of page numbers down, but I had one I wanted to share, so I'm trying to find. I should have written more. Do you remember what scene? No, no. I'm not gonna, if I find it later, I will talk about it, but not right now. It's fine. Oh, Eden. Oh, avert eyes, avert eyes. When he's walking around with the towel, she's like, avert eyes, avert eyes, avert. Yeah. Um, so no, but I did like that when Luke joins in the house and she immediately changes back to deaf culture, like tapping and like getting attention. And she's like, how easy it is to do it again. So I liked that part. And also, I think it's funny when Warren is signing fast to Luke, and so she doesn't want Chloe to see. She's just like blinking her eyes, like it's too fast for me. um, so okay, two things. There was the comment that was about West Side Story, about like the two men, like, you know, about to throw down. Yeah. But the not really quote, but I like this part. It says, so when she's tired, um, it says, am I tired, or is it simply easier to be honest when you know someone already doesn't like you? Either way. That's not the main quote I was looking for, but it's fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. Later. Yeah, find it later. I can comment it on Discord. Um, okay, so next week, so there's the option we can like double up chapters, or we can just go into February and finish it in February. So there's 33 chapters, I think. No, yeah, 30, no, 40 something, 40 something. Maybe next week do 12 to 22. And then the last do the two, double up and do the two together. That works. Yeah. That will work. Okay, so next week we'll read chapters 12 to 22. And then we'll discuss that, and then we'll do 23 through, I think it's 42. Yeah, it's fine. So we'll see how, if their relationship, Chloe and Warren's relationship, will progress or not. So I like it so far, but I hope there will be more signing, and I like the relationship, the interactions with Luke and Chloe. So I would like to see their relationship grow, not just with Warren too, but I like to see how their relationships will grow. So I hope it's not like just short and that'll be it. Yeah. Guess we'll see. It's not a review for me. This is the first time for me. Yeah, that would be cute. Um, yes, so for me, it's a reread. For Desi, it's the first time. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I know. We have this much left. So we haven't talked about it yet, but February is soon. So next week we can set up the vote. The vote. Okay. Yeah. So we will be now. February is a romance book again. Sorry. February, technically the challenge is a romance. Um but maybe we can do a YA, or we can do, I mean, we could do a sapphic or whatever. Yes, January is flying by. Yeah. But Desi and I will discuss it this week and vote next week too, so we can be ready. Um, we'll try our best. I know everyone needs time to order and everything, but it did. Like, I don't remember half of January, so that's fun. Most of this we were sick, and so it's all a blur to me of what we've done. Yeah, yeah. This week is back to normal, so okay. So keep reading. We'll discuss more next week. I know Desi has posted some. I'm gonna come back to posting hopefully this week, next week. Posting, yeah, comments and everything. But we'll make sure that there's no questions. If there's any last minute questions, it's a little bit late. Anything about the book, or on Discord, reading challenge. My thought just disappeared. It's late. Yeah. Okay. we'll remember later. But yeah, so any questions, please just contact us on Discord. We're there. We'll chat there. And if you've not joined, you can find us. Definitely Readers Book Club. I forgot, but I will make sure Fable has the right book too. Um, well, some people find us on Fable. So I've been making sure we have the right book, but I need to do January's. Is the ghost town. Yeah. Yeah. Fable is a ghost town, but no one's commenting there. So but now I guess we'll go back to doing both. But I will also say the second half of Affogato, I tried to download it 4 or 5 times from TikTok and it would not let me. Like it did not let me. It kept saying it was downloading and it never did. So we have the first half, but the second half is not going to be posted because I couldn't get it. I'm not going to worry about it. I will say that book was way spicier than I expected. I've heard. Yeah. Um, I saw the comments and I'm like, okay. Yeah. So if it's a romance book, probably Desi and I might be trying to read it before the others read it because I was not expecting that. I had not read that author before. In December, I recently read, something hard. Hear My Heart. Hear My Heart. And I was like, oh, that'd be good because there's a black author and it had a black character. Oh, great. Awesome. It was really hard to find. That's really hard to find. I was like, yes. And it's romance. Awesome. Whoa. It was the steam in it was very, I was not expecting that. And I was expecting like deaf culture, signing. Yeah, learning ASL for her. Yeah. But what? BDSM. Oh, so it had kink in it. Kink in it. Okay. So, but yeah, so for the same for this one, I was not expecting to read it immediately. It was like as soon as they got together, it was just sex the whole time. I mean, I'm not judging this reading. I like spice, that's fine. But I expected to see more depth representation and signing and conversation, not just okay. So Affogato did have the deaf representation and the signing during sex. This one didn't. Okay. I'm saying is deaf person? I'm saying for me, online to talk about that book was a little bit embarrassing because I was just like, and I will also say, I don't mind those kind of books. Those are fine. If I know that's the kind of book I'm going to read, but I didn't expect it. I thought it was more plot because it was about the coffee shop and like it was a romance, yes, but the last half of the book could have just been because it was all sex. And so I didn't like that part. Yeah. Yeah. Hope. I agree. Now, if I had known going into the book that was the kind of book, probably would have been okay. But I went into the book because it had the autism and it had the deaf rep. Um, will be honest, I did read the second book. It was worse. Not the characters, because it was a hearing guy with the deaf twin, and like his experiences were different than the other one because he had a cochlear and that was successful. And so his experiences growing up were hearing, not deaf. And his twin had a cochlear that was not successful, that didn't work. And so his experiences growing up were deaf. And so it was a very different perspective, and I liked that. But going into reading the book, I knew it was going to be about sex. And yes, and it was worse because it was immediate. Why did I read it? Because I was curious if it would be the same way. If you want a spicy book that has actually pretty good deaf representation, okay, here you go. If you want a book with a plot, don't read it. For example, Quiet Beautiful Things has both, has a balance. Yeah, it has language deprivation, it has how to manage your a deaf daughter, plus it also finds as a love story. Great. They work together, perfect. But with the book that we read, has deaf, and then the second half was just like, what's the point? What was this for? Why not show the growth through it? Not just, oh, okay, la 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 la. Anyway, but yes, that is a genre. It's just pure spice. Yes. So this author, just know that I read some reviews after and said that this is normal for that author. But I will say, if you want spice and you want death rep, yes, these books are good. Maybe, maybe. That's why I said that maybe Desi and I will be reading it like just okay, not fully spice. Okay, we're good. Yeah, yeah. Every wrong you right. Oh man, that poor person on Discord. I don't remember who it is. I'm not sure if I spelled her name right. She said, "Has anyone read this?" It's awful. It's awful. Oh yeah, we've read it. We normally make comments about it. How awful. And I've always said, every wrong you right instead of right. Um, oh yeah, that's true. I think will be a lot of reviews will say if it's very, very spicy or not. So maybe go through the reviews more. I don't know. We're going to try our best to not have a fully spicy book with no plot. We're going to try our best. Yeah. Anyways, any last minute things? If not, thank you for joining. Happy Wednesday. Happy reading. It was great to see everyone. Happy New Year 2026. We're looking forward. Yeah. I will see you all next week. Okay, have a good night. Bye.